Hey guys, this is William. So, I have not been able to upload new videos for quite a while, and the reason for it is quite simple. It's got to do with the amount of time it usually takes to produce these quality videos, as well as the accompanying documentation. So, I've had a lot of comments on YouTube from people viewing it and saying, "When are you uploading a new one?" And I thought a good middle ground would be for me to just do informal, casual sessions where I just record a section of stuff, and in the comments there, you guys can tell me, okay, well, can you also discuss this? Can you discuss that? The reason why I want to do it this way is because it saves me time, and you also get the benefit. So, you guys take a look in the or post in the comments and let me know what you think. The sessions will not be um, edited. The recordings won't be edited. So, in the sense of I won't go in and cut and change and do all of that work. It'll just be me talking. So if you hear ums and ahs and whatever, it is what it is, right? So I'm going to just have little projects on its own that I'm gonna explain to you guys, and I'll use some of the art assets from our upcoming game, Nine Noir Lives, which you can go and check out on Steam. It's about cats. It's a detective mystery. It's very cute, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that. So today I thought let me discuss a few things. I want to chat about cutscenes, about dialogue, and dialogue options. So I have just got an empty scene here, and I can run it, and then nothing happens. Okay, so we have a new tab called Actions. Okay, so you don't need to worry about all of these things. These are. Let me actually just remove this. Okay, so actions. What is an action? Now, the terminology action is used across the board. You can see the actions, action, and it might be a bit confusing. But when we're talking about actions here, see it as a set of instructions that can be called at any point. So, I give an object to an NPC, and then I want a little cutscene to play. What happens in the cutscene will be put here in the actions. And when I give an object to that character, then I will call this action. So I'm going to click plus here to add it. Now by default, that all actions occur on this page here. Okay, you can see there's a bit of space on either side. The actions here, we've got different types of actions. So I'm just going to move this up. You see the execution type, called by other action, which means in that example I gave you, when a player gives something to an NPC, when I hand over that object, I can call this action. So there we go, called by other action. The other one is at beginning of scene or at end of scene. Now, when this scene loads, I can have a cutscene play. Okay? Or at the end of a scene. Okay? When it unloads. So we're going to change it to at beginning of scene. Because I want to, as soon as I click play or load this scene, I want a little interaction to occur. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place our character in the screen. Okay. Now remember, you can do this if you go to the characters and here, choose your character under properties. You can choose where they start, where this character stands at. But for my purposes, I'm going to do it a lot more step by step. So I'm going to click on create new entry. I'm going to choose set character to position. Okay, and I'm going to choose that. Which character? My current character. This is the main playable character. This is defined here under the game properties. You can see the active character. So I'm going to here, I'm back here at my beginning of scene, set character, current character to where? To the current scene, and then I'm going to click on the little icon here to choose where he will start, and I'll choose a direction. Now let's take a look. I'm going to run my game, and there we go. There's Cuddles. And he can now walk around. Great. So now what I want to do is I want to add another NPC. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to paste it. Okay, Control C, Control V as well. I'm going to move this up. Next I want to add my NPC. So set character, let's say character Tabby, and she will stand here. So I'm choosing a different spot for her, and she's facing a different direction. So now I'm going to run my game, and there's Tabby. Easy enough. So now they're going to have a little bit of an interaction. So now I'm going to say display text, and Cuddles is going to say hi Tabby, and Tabby's going to say hi Cuddles. Very friendly. Now I'm going to duplicate these two. Just going to hold shift and select multiple, Control C, select the last one, Control V. So now Cuddles is going to ask how you doing, and Tabby's going to say great. Okay, so there we go. Now let's run it and see. Hi Tabby, hi Cuddles, how you doing? Whoops. So that played. Fantastic. Now, when I run the game, I can actually walk around while they're talking. I don't really want that. Okay, so I want to limit what the player can do during this time. I don't want them to be able to interact. So I'm going to add a show hide cursor. So I'm going to select hide cursor, but always remember, you got to add that at the end and say show cursor. If you don't put a show cursor at the end, then your player can't continue the game. But now I've basically taken away control from the player, and I force them to sit through this. They cannot change that. So I'm going to click. See, no matter what I do, I cannot control Cuddles anymore. But now I can. Great. The next thing is, we've got a different way you can also do that. We've got an action part called begin end of cutscene. It's got the same thing, but the player can skip it. So if I had used that, begin cutscene, end cutscene, at any point the player can press escape on the keyboard, and then the cutscene will be skipped. It'll jump down to here. But remember, if you change conditions in this and the player press escapes, that condition won't change. So you need to make sure that whatever you are doing, the conditions are not within a begin end scene. Okay? As an example, if I put a thing here that says, I create a new condition that says Tabby introduced. Okay? So this is just to keep track that, you know, when I re-enter the scene, I don't want the same thing to happen again. Because remember, this is at beginning of scene. Every time Cuddles comes in and out of this scene, this is going to run. But this introduction, this cutscene should only run once, if you agree with me, right? It should only run once. So, but currently, if I go in and out of a screen, it's going to run multiple times, which is not great. We don't want that. Let's see if we can quickly do that. I'm just creating a duplicated scene. I'm creating a new object, and I am adding a hotspot. There, object hotspot, and now I want to, when the player left clicks on it, execute command, and what I want to do is I want to have the scene changed. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I created a new scene. Let's call this scene 2. Here I create scene 1. Now I want to just switch between these two because I want to show you how it works. But right now there's nothing for me to switch the scene. Okay, I don't know how to go to scene 2. This is why I did what I just did. So let me start afresh because maybe I went a bit fast. Scene 1. I created a scene 2. Scene 1. I'm going to create a new hotspot, and I'm going to call it exit. Okay, so there's my hotspot. Now I need to define the object area. Where does the mouse need to click for you to to continue to the next scene. So I'm just going to mark it here. When Cuddles clicks here, he'll move to scene 2. We're not done. We now need to actually implement that change. So on the actions, I'm going to click add. It's going to add a new action, execute item. So what we want is execute command on object at the destination. This is left click. So when you click on this, Cuddles will walk to here and do whatever he needs to do. You can do double click, item dropped, and so on. The immediate execution means that if you click on it, Cuddles will not walk to there. It'll immediately happen. This is handy when you have zoom in screens, right? When Cuddles is not really on screen. You have a zoom in screen and you want to, look at something and so on. We're going to have Cuddles walk to there, so that's fine. Now we need to say which command. So I'm going to just use my standard command because this is my implementation of the UI, of the interface. So I'm going to say standard command. So when I click standard command, which is my little mouse cursor, my default one, then Cuddles will change. So now I'm going to add a scene, change scene. Okay, and I'm going to action part, change scene, character stands where. So the character will move to scene 2, and let's say char store start. Okay, so now Cuddles will move to scene 2 when he does that. And we can test that, and what we'll do is we'll maybe just have a little background change here. Miscellaneous, there we go. And let's just say that's scene 2. Okay, so now if I run it, the cutscene will play. And now if I go to, let's just see. Okay, that didn't work. Why? I didn't put a label, so that's I couldn't quite see it. So let's see. Cutscene plays, blah blah blah. Now I can see my exit if I click on it. Okay, that doesn't work. Why is it not working? Let's see. Hotspot. I need to put the position because right now Cuddles doesn't know where to walk. So I'm just gonna select that and I'm gonna put the position there. Because if I click on it and this is not set, then Cuddles cannot walk to the point to execute it. So let's run this again and see. Cutscene. There we go. So now I am at the second scene. We can see what happened. When I moved to the scene 2, the cutscene played again. Why? Because remember, I copied the scene. So if I go to scene 2 on the actions, I can see I've got the very same thing. I actually want to remove this. Right? Because I don't want the cutscene to be on scene 2. So now take let's see again, let's go blah blah, cutscene plays and exit, and now Cuddles is on the second scene. Let's do this from this side as well. I'm going to sorry, not a call by action. I'm going to create a new hotspot, call it exit. I'm going to create a thing here, object area. I'm going to mark it as when I left click. It's going to be the standard command, and I'm going to change scene. Where am I going to change to? I'm going to change to scene 1 and to the exit. Okay, so now that should work. I'm going to just put this here, the exit. I am going to put the spot where he needs to walk to. So let's quickly run this now again and see. Cutscene plays, blah blah blah. Go to the next scene, go back to the other scene, and look there, the cutscene plays again. That's not what we want. So back to the scene here. At beginning of scene. So remember, this is why we did all of this. So every time you go into the scene, this is going to play. This is not good enough for me. I want it to play once. So what do? I created a new condition here called tabby introduce. Now I'm going to do an if query, if condition tabby introduced is false, right? So tabby is not yet introduced. Then play this. Else, now I can just add an end if. Always remember to add an end if. So really, we don't have an else statement. If you go in and this is false, it will play. If you go in again, it will play. It will not play if this is true. But this won't work yet, because, and I can show it to you, but let's do it like this. Intro plays, and then exit, and it plays again. Why? Because we didn't change the condition. Here we're saying if tabby is introduced is false, then we do it and we don't change it. So we need to change the condition again. Here, tabby introduced is true, because this is false, it runs through, and then this should be true. So the next time you go in and it runs this, it's going to say, you know what, this is actually true, so I'm going to skip it. One other thing, I move the hide cursor into the if condition, so you guys need to do that as well. It'll be dangerous if it's outside, because if this is false, then it'll be fine because it executes this, but if this was true, it'll hide the cursor and then not show it again. So play around with this. You'll get a feel for how this is supposed to work. But I'm just going to save this, and I'm going to go run game. Tabby, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go to the next scene. I'm going to go in here again. Ah, and look at that. So now, tabby, the cutscene did not play. Okay, fantastic. So that's how this works. Now, if I had gone, I'm going to remove the hide show cursor, and I'm going to put in my cutscene. Begin and end cutscene. End cutscene. Now, when I play this, I can press escape on the keyboard and it'll skip all of this, but it will also skip this. So let's quickly test it. I'm going to skip it by press escape, but now if I go back, okay, it might, let's do this quickly. I'm going to press escape. Maybe I'm too, it still executes it because it's quite quick. Now, yeah, so as a rule, just do that. Don't use begin hide cutscenes if you have conditions. Okay. Now, here, I want to troubleshoot this. I want to see what my conditions are. Now, what I can do to do that is I can bring up a debug menu. So I can press tab, and then I get this menu. I've got a bunch of options here. I want to go to my conditions, and I want to see what has changed here. I can see tabby introduced is set to true. So this is interesting. Now, I have now got my my cutscene. It's now gone. So let's now call another cutscene. So now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new object, and I am going to add a picture on it. So let me do that quick. Let's say the coffee. Okay, it's a big cup, but this is what we're going to do. Okay, I'm going to add my my object area, and now I'm going to go to my actions. What I want to have happen is when Cuddle uses the cup, we're going to call an action. So I'm going to go back to my actions, and I'm going to first create my cutscene. When I create a new one, it's called by other action. That's the name. I can change this. I can call this cutscene 123. Okay, and you might need to if you have multiple of these. So this is my call by other action, and I'm going to just click here and say Cuddles will say display text yum coffee, and then Tabby is going to say you drink too much coffee, sir. Okay, And then you can do whatever else you want. You can change conditions, you can play sounds, whatever. But this is just to give you an idea. So now back on my coffee, right, on my actions, when I have the use command, I'm going to do what? I want to call this. So then I'm going to add a new action part called call quit action. And here I will now go, because I'm clicking here, and here my scene, I choose scenes at the top. Here I have called by other action. So now when I use the cup, this will happen. So let's test it. The intro plays, perfect. I can change my scene. We should be happy with that. Now I'm going to use this cup. Okay, it's not working because we did not add a name. Although a name's not strictly necessary, it's more the position here that we need. So I'm just going to put the position there and just add a direction. So let's try again. I'm going to use my coffee. Yum, coffee. You drink too much, sir. Good. So we've actually covered a lot now. We've covered cutscenes, how to create a cutscene, show hide cursors, begin, end cutscene, action parts, changing scenes, called by other action at beginning of scene. The other one I quickly want to discuss is just chatting to Tabby. Okay, so I see there is some stuff in there, so let me just remove it. Tabby. So dialogues are stored on the character under the dialogue tab. I'm just going to remove all of these. So if you click on character there, characters, dialogue tab. Now I'm going to create a generic dialogue for Tabby. So I'm going to add a dialogue, and here we have a list of the dialogue items. There's nothing there right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the top layer and press plus. And I get my first dialogue option. So now I'm going to do, my first thing I'm going to do is just create my bye, so my exit dialogue. So Cuddles will say bye, Tabby will say goodbye, sir, and then we need to exit the dialogue after. So this determines how the dialogue will actually function. Because this is going to be my bye or my goodbye dialogue, I need to do this exit dialogue afterwards. So let's test it. Now I want to initiate this dialogue when I chat to Tabby. Okay? Where do I do that? Well, I do this under actions. Sorry guys, let me just delete all of this. This is our in-game development stuff. So I do it here under actions. So if I click a new entry, I need to execute a command. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click use. So when I use Tabby, i.e. talk, some things are going to occur. So I'm going to add an action part, and I'm going to call a dialogue. Start, stop dialogue. Then I'm going to click here, and we're going to start the dialogue I just created. So when I now run my scene, now if I talk to Tabby or use Tabby, this is what will happen. Start dialogue. So we will go here. Let's see. There we go. And I have my bye. So I can now click on that and it exits. And she says goodbye, sir. Now, let's add a question in here. I'm going to just click a button there. And so I added one. It went down. So let me do this again. I clicked the top layer, because if you click here and you click plus, it's going to indent it. That's not what we want. So I'm going to click at the top, click plus, and then just select that one and move it up. And Cuddles will say, hey, I don't drink a lot of coffee. And she's going to say, you do, sir. So that is going to be my question. What I'm going to do is I'm going to choose here delete dialogue entry, because once you've said it, you shouldn't be able to say it again. This deletes that line from the conversation list. So now if I run my game, I talk to Tabby. Hey, I drink a lot of coffee. You do, sir, and it's gone. But now, I want follow-up questions. I want I want Cuddles to say, hey, prove it. Okay, so now I add a new line, and I go up, and Cuddles says, prove it. Wait, like that. And she's like, okay, sir. And now let's play the game and see. So Tabby will talk to Tabby. And now we see both options here. This isn't right, because this should only appear when we've talked about this, right? So the way we do this is we need to keep this from showing up until a specific point. And the way we control that is with these parts, the condition and the value. For now, we're just going to focus on, or let's do the value. The condition is easy enough. I create a condition that says, Tabby, question about coffee answered. Then I can do the condition. If the condition is true, then we'll move on. But let's do the prove it first. So I don't want this to show until Cuddles has asked this question. So what I'll do is I will create a new value, and I will call this value coffee questions. And what are values? Values are numbers. So I can have a value of 0, a value of 1, a value of 2, a value of 3. And I can increment that. I can set that. Okay? So now, what I do here is, we'll do this, coffee 1. If it is 0, if the value is 0, then it's not discussed. Okay? Not discussed. If it is 1, then the first question has been asked. Okay? So that's the value here. Okay, first question. Now, this one should only appear if we have asked the first question. So I'm going to click here and choose that value and say only appear if the value is 1. Okay. Now, let's run our game and see. Talk to Tabby, and we see it doesn't appear here. Let's now go to our debug menu, go to values, remember, and let's see. There, I can type in coffee to search my value, and I can see it's 0. Okay, now, good. So now somewhere we need to set that value to 1, right? And it needs to happen after I've asked this question. This you do right here, execute action, this little view action. Now you click on that, and here we will add a new action part that says value, set value. Okay, so set value plus 1. So what we're going to do now is when this has been clicked, this will run that we see on screen. What will it do? It will increment this value to 1, which is the first question. And because that is 1, then this will appear because this validates to true. Okay, so let's test it. Talk to Tabby. Hey, I drink a lot of coffee. I don't. Yes, you do. And then, prove it. And you're like, prove it. Okay, sir. And you see the prove it remains. That's not what we want. We want to get that gone as well. So we select it and we say delete dialog. But let's add another one. So I'm going to add another line, and I'm going to say coffee is the best even if I drink too much. And then Tabby says, okay. Now, I only want this to appear if this and this has been completed. So, what we do again is we need to choose this value. But look there, we need to add another one that says, okay, well, this is going to be the second question then. Okay, so only if this is 2, then show this. Now, what do we have to do? When this has been asked, then we need to increment it again. Remember? We did it once before. So we click on the action part and we say set value. And now keep in mind, a quick way to go about this is you can use this browse link and actually click and drag. And you see now I can drag to there. And what do I want to do? I want to increment it by 1. So now what happens is I talk to Tabby, and this is 0. I ask her the first question. This gets incremented by 1. So this is then 1 at that point. Because of that, this will show. This will only show when this is 1. Then I'm going to increment it again to 2. And what happens? This then shows because it's 2. So this is very handy for a lot of things when you get very complicated trees. There's a lot more to cover in this, but I think that's going to be it for now. I think I've given you guys some tools. Mention in the comments things that you would like me to cover in future sessions. Hopefully I can give more frequent updates or videos for you guys. But it's not going to be too structured because there just isn't time for me to do that. But I do want to create these videos because I do want to help you guys understand how frustrating it is because you don't have the knowledge to build what you want to build. So mention in the comments if you guys are happy with this sort of video and if you want specific topics to be covered. And I'll try to do a session once every 2 weeks. Perhaps we'll also do like a streaming thing where you guys can join and then ask your questions there. I certainly don't know all the answers, but I do know quite a bit about it. And I am going to shamelessly plug the game. So if you guys want to go look at the game, I'll quickly just bring it up on Steam for you. You can go check it out. We're redoing the trailer, so this is still the old trailer, but we did update the text here. So go check it out. The trailer will be updated with new gameplay. It still has old gameplay. But then, yeah, if you like it, do wishlist it. Alright, thanks guys. We'll chat again.